Jerry was doing the whole thing yesterday. He was on Stephen A. Smith's show, and he was stirring up unnecessarily, stirring up stuff with Micah Parsons, and then makes this big boast, and then admits what we all know. It's all for show. It's all for show. He likes to stir things up to get people to pay attention to the Cowboys. He likes to create controversy so people will be interested in the Cowboys. He's been saying that openly for a couple years now. The first time I noticed it, said it when he was testifying in that trial that was a massive verdict against the NFL, the Sunday ticket antitrust case, until a judge threw out the verdict. But he said, we try to be interesting. I want to be interesting. I don't care if fans of another team hate me. That's good for business. We want to be interesting. We want to be something people talk about. And he said that yesterday again. They want to be interesting. There's no substance there. It's all sizzle. It's all stuff to get people talking. And I don't know, maybe some people are motivated by that, but he's the first one to say it out loud repeatedly, and now we all know. I don't know that it's going to make people less interested in the Cowboys to understand the whole thing is a grift, but that's what he's admitting. This whole thing is a con job. It's a grift. He's going out of his way to make you interested in something that you should objectively not be interested in, especially based on the way they played last night.
Yeah, I mean, again, this team is all about headlines. It's not about executing on the field, and that is not a knock on the coaching staff, because I do believe the coaching staff and the players, they want to go out there and play well and win on the field and make everything about football, because that's how you ultimately keep your job in the NFL. The only people that can do what Jerry Jones is doing is the owner, because you'll never get fired. It's your team. So every time you watch this Cowboys team, you just watch and you're just like why? I mean, and to me, one of their things is, and I know it didn't impact the game overall, but like the George Pickens, the taunting penalty, like you're trying to come back and you talk about being entertaining, and you get a taunting penalty, a 15-yard penalty after picking up a nice first down. It's stuff like that I think surrounds this Cowboys team, that why when you watch them, you go back and you say, we're just not going to take them serious. They're not going to be there, because it's all these little things that don't result into winning. When you watch teams that win consistently, there's all these little things that they're able to do within a game or week after week after week that show up, and they talk about it, they discuss it, and then the players go out there and execute it. I think for the Cowboys, you just don't see that consistently enough. Whether it's offense or defense, they don't show up and do those little things over and over again. And that's why ultimately they just don't win enough games or win the big games that will advance them and make them and play in those big moments at the end of the year.
I'm glad you mentioned the George Pickens penalty, because I've been a George Pickens fan through and through. Got a George Pickens jersey downstairs. Almost wore it last Monday. If the Steelers had won, maybe I would have during the show. But he needs to have a year that is unblemished, that is high production, if he's going to get the contract he's looking for. Because in that moment when he sticks the ball out, and then he tried to do the, I meant to stick it to I meant to hand it to the official. He knew what he was doing. It was clear. He knew what he was doing. There was one not that long ago where, I think it was last Monday night, it was Rashee Rice flipping the ball back to the official, and it hit the player in the helmet. And I really do believe that he was trying to throw the ball to the official. Last night, that was George Pickens being the George Pickens that the Steelers fired. And you can't do that. If you're trying to get somebody to pay you $30 million a year, you can't remind people that you may still be that same guy. You got to be different all the time. And in that one moment, there may be a GM, an owner, a coach out there who's thinking, maybe we can and see that, no, forget it. Take him off the list. Strike him off the list. Yeah. We're not going to give that guy $30 million a year, because that's going to happen at a bad time, and it's going to send us back 15 yards, and it's going to be the game that may decide the season. And one of those games that decides the season is the game that decides a coach's future.
There's no doubt about it. And that's the first thing. As soon as he did it, I was like, why? Why do this right now? And my brother texted me. He's like, did you think that was taunting? I was like, yeah, that was taunting. He put the ball right in front. I was like, the ref has to call that in that moment. So just unfortunate. And again, I agree 100% what you said, because he's been having a phenomenal season. And it's like, these are the things that everybody will talk about. The guy's been unguardable. Like CeeDee Lamb went out. Cowboys didn't skip a beat on offense because of his production. So you just hate to see that because everyone's waiting for that. And it's not necessary for him. He's kind of stayed out of harm's way all year. He's avoided some of these situations. I do think the thing you get nervous about if I'm the Cowboys or other teams is if this thing goes south and now you have no shot to make the playoffs and now you're kind of playing for nothing, that's going to be what's tough about a guy like George Pickens. How does he stay focused? How does he continue to show up and perform, not just on the field, but doing everything the right way when you know there's nothing really to play for? I think that's going to be one of the keys for him this year down the stretch to get that contract. Because, look, I'm a former player. I want to see guys get those contracts that they've earned on the field, and I hope he's able to do that.
Yeah, tell Jason the dictionary defines taunting as intended to provoke someone in an insulting manner. That's textbook taunting. What's he doing? He's sticking the ball in his face. He's intending to provoke him in an insulting manner. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.